talk about Sydney Sweeney, who apparently has been cut from the upcoming Devil Wears Prada 2. So we got Michael this coming out this week, Devil Wears Prada coming out next week. And word on the curb is the fact that, yeah, Sydney Sweeney had a part in the middle, I mean, not the middle, in the beginning of the movie. She was supposed to be playing herself, and her part was cut because they felt that it didn't fit with the flow of the movie, basically, which I kind of figured that's what it was. So let's get into the tea. Now, when The Devil Wears Prada hits theaters on May 1st, audiences will notice a few famous faces, though there's a couple of notable absences. The sequel, which premiered on Monday night in New York, is loaded with cameos from the fashion and entertainment worlds. Lady Gaga makes an appearance and also recorded a Doshi-assisted track Runway for the film's soundtrack. Donatella Versace, who stepped down as creative director of her family's brand, filmed the scene in Milan for a cameo. Supermodel Naomi Campbell Walk also appears, having been seated next to Meryl Streep's Miranda Priestley at the Dolce & Gabbana Spring 2026 show, which was shot live during Milan Fashion Week. But not everyone who showed up on set made it on screen. A source explained to Entertainment Weekly that Sydney's cameo would have happened towards the top of the film, but it was ultimately cut out in a creative decision. Excuse me. The Euphoria star filmed a roughly 3-minute scene near the top of the movie in which she played herself being dressed for an event by Emily Blunt's character Emily Charlton, now running Dior's U.S. operations. Now, according to a source, the scene did not work structurally with the rest of the sequence, and the team found the decision to remove it a difficult one. Sweeney, for her part, has hardly been hurting for screen time lately. She's recently returned to the project that launched her to superstardom, which would basically be Euphoria, the third and thank God final season. Now, also trimmed from the finish room was How to Get Away with Murder actor, and I have to say he looked good in person because I saw him in the play Here Lies Love. Conrad Ricamora, who y'all know was from, well, as they said, How to Get Away with Murder, who had been cast as Andy's roommate. Now, sources say the character didn't survive test screenings. Audiences kept questioning why Andy needed a roommate at all, which is true. If you are someone who's successful, has money, why the fuck do you need a roommate? That's only if you're struggling out in these streets, you would need a roommate. So yeah, there's no reason why there needed to be that situation. Now, the final film instead leans into her spending time with Tracy Toms's character at Tracy Toms's character's place, a dynamic that sources say plays more realistic to the 2006 original. Meanwhile, one cameo that never happened was Jessica Chastain's. Rumors of the Oscar winner appearing in the film circulated online in July of 2025 after the actress was seen in New York City during the time of principal photography. However, the gossip proved to be false because Chastain never even filmed a cameo. Now, when speaking to Variety's Mark Malkin at the Vanity Fair Oscar party in March about a possible cameo, Anna Wintour played coy, telling him that's for you to find out. Now, the Condé Nast Global Content Chief visited the sequel's Milan set, where director David Franco captured her in what he called a gag take that will appear as a bonus feature on streaming, though Winter got ahead of her cue, leaving the shot partially out of focus. So I can't ask Anna to do a take two. Why the fuck not? If she's gonna be in your movie, have her redo it. But I guess everybody's scared of her cold self. and I've actually seen Anna Wintour in person. I saw her at there was a we did a Wimbledon tennis thing at the Garden, and she was there. She came out in this like fabulous red coat and that signature Edna Mode bowl cut. So what does I want to say? Okay, so they said Frankel told the back row. This is what he told the back row podcast. Her contribution behind the camera proved more consequential anyway. While watching a scene roll in the fictional Dior offices, Wintour zeroed in on the flowers in frame, declared there were too many as they were too pink, and informed the crew that Dior would only ever have white flowers. The blooms were promptly swapped out. Now, it's not uncommon for celebrity cameos to be cut from movies once the editing process begins, because you remember when they did I Know What You Did Last Summer remake, Lola Tongue and Nicholas Alexander Chavez were supposed to be in the movie. I believe there was supposed to be an opening sequence where they were supposed to be in, and they ended up cutting the entire scene from the movie. I don't know if their scene has appeared on the DVD or whatever the case is, but they were cut from the film. But I felt like with this, maybe like the same thing y'all talked about that you want to use it for a gag reel or whatever with Anna Wintour. Why not do that with Sydney Sweeney? And if there's any other in the Conrad Mikamura scene, have those scenes be a part of the deleted scene situation. So that way, when people order it or buy the movie, they'll have these little things that they can look at and realize, okay, so because of timing and flow and how the film was being put together, y'all wanted to cut all this stuff in the movie. So why not do that? There's an idea. So, and then it also said Simone Ashley, who happens to be in Devil Wears Prada 2, she was actually cut from F1. So, I don't think Sydney would be all upset about it, but like I said, just put her scene in the deleted scene and people will be able to see what she did when we get around to it. So I'll say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story that poor Sydney and them boobs are not going to be in The Devil Wears Prada 2? Her cameo, I guess, just didn't fit with the flow of the movie. And sometimes that happens. As an actor, be prepared to be on the cutting room floor. It's happened to many of us, including myself. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.